Hello everyone, myself Jaya Agarwal, Assistant Professor Political Science, SPCGC Ajmer. This is paper second of BA first year and representative Indian political thinker, and we are going to study about Manu's political views. And in this video we are going to study about Manu's views on public opinion. Before we start our video, I want to tell one thing, that public opinion must be respected by the king or the ruler or the government, and this thing has been mentioned by this opinion or this suggestion has been mentioned by all the representative Indian political thinkers, despite the fact that they have supported rule of king, but in spite of providing king so many powers, all the ancient Indian political thinkers have supported that there must be public opinion, and it must be as a restriction over king's authority. So let's start and let's see this public opinion as a restriction over king's authority. So let's start. Here we go. Manu contemplates an assembly of the learned as well as the officers, that is called as Sachivas by Manu of the state. According to Manu, there must be an assembly of the learned plus officers of the state, and the assembly takes decision on the basis of dharma, that is moral laws, and its members are to speak out there without fear or favor. This is very much important, that there must be an assembly of learned plus officers combined. There must be an assembly combined of learned people and learned themselves and some officers of the state, and it will take decision on the basis of moral laws, that is called as dharma, and Manu has expected these people to speak out there without fear or favor, because it is very much important for a king that his ministers or officers express their views without any fear or favor in the interest of the state, in the interest of its public or subjects. Truth is destroyed, and the state along with the king perishes if they do not perform their duty there. What I have told earlier, that your opinion must be expressed without fear or favor, otherwise it would destroy the king along with the state. Next one is Shudras were not to be there. Only the three upper varnas took part in the assembly deliberations. We may disagree with Manu here, but when we study Manu, it is some type of discrimination that Manu do not give Shudras their rights, and they are deprived of their rights, and for this in continuation of this thing, Manu does not support Shudras to be there in a part of assembly, and only three upper varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya, they should take part in the assembly deliberations. Here we are talking about public opinion, but when we come to criticize Manu or criticism of Manu's political views, we mention there that he has supported discrimination against Shudras. Next one is its membership was an aristocracy of merit. Even the king was subject to its decisions. Technically, it did not make laws, it only found or discovered it. The king was not to deviate from its joint advice. Obedience to the king was necessary but conditional on performance of his duties towards the people. Here Manu says that it would be necessary, it would be mandatory for the king to respect the advice of this assembly whatever advice is rendered to him, but wherever the king performs his duty on his noble virtues and noble qualities, there it is not necessary for the king to follow their advice, but in general aspect, Manu expects from the king that he will respect their advice and follow the same. Manu prefers decentralization and autonomy at various levels of administration. The king does not interfere till they perform their duties or solve problems. The king has to undertake various welfare activities regarding production and distribution of goods, increase of wealth, and social security measures like help to widow, orphans, children, sick, and others. In other video, we have talked about positive state or welfare state um, when we have studied about Swami Dayanand Saraswati and many other Indian political thinkers, because well, all have supported positive state, or that is welfare state, and here Manu also supports the same. When we say that the king has to undertake various welfare activities, that's mean welfare state, and the welfare state provides all the basic uh, facilities and all the facilities to its citizens, and these here these are just only some examples. Otherwise the king has to undertake all the welfare activities as much as he can do for his subjects. And one most important thing is that Manu talks about decentralization and autonomy at various levels of administration. That may be known as, in today's scenario, it is called local self government, or local government, or panchayati raj institutions. And when we talk about the grassroots democracy, here I'm not saying that Manu has supported democracy or not. I'm just talking about decentralization, and in this in this circumstances, or in this scenario, when we talk about decentralization, that's mean grassroots level of the rule or of the government should be more strengthened, and should be more powerful, and should have more autonomy at various levels of administration. And so the people at grassroots level, at village level, or at the bottom level can feel that they also have the right of political participation, or the government works for them, government is working for them, and they are also a part of it. That's all for today from my side. Thank you very much.